welcome to the very first tier list video on the channel. I mentioned in my first video that I may do some tier list videos because I think they're a lot of fun, and the very first character that I wanted to do a tier list of in regards to movies was Batman, and that's because Batman has a pretty iconic set of movies and very different lists vary from person to person, and I decided to throw my own into the mix. Now, I will have one caveat on this. I have not seen Snyder's Justice League, therefore, I will not rank it because it's not fair for me to talk about that movie when I haven't seen it. I did see Justice League originally when it came out in theaters, so I will be ranking that one, but I've never actually sat down and watched the entire Zack Snyder Justice League movie. So I will not be ranking that out of fairness, but I'm going to be putting these in a tier list ranging from S, A, B, C, D, and F. F and D are just bad movies. F is like terrible. C is average. B for me is like it's a little bit above average. A is really good, and then S is like top of the list, obviously. But I think some of the best movies out there. So we're gonna be ranking every single one. I've seen every single Batman movie aside from Snyder's Justice League, and I'm gonna rank them. So starting off from left to right, let's just move Snyder's Justice League to the back. But starting off with the Lego Batman movie, which I'm not gonna lie, I gotta put that in the B tier. Now, this movie shocked me. I had heard over the years that this movie is so great, and if you're a Batman fan, you will love this movie. And this movie's so good and underrated, and I didn't believe the hype for so long. And then my girlfriend decided to force me to watch it, and I'm glad she did because this movie was actually a deep character study of Bruce Wayne and his loneliness, which was surprisingly deep. I did not think we'd have something like that for a Lego movie, but I actually really enjoyed it. I thought the comedy was pretty good in most parts. The scene with Batman and the Joker, where Batman tells Joker he's nothing to him, is just pure like comedic genius for a Batman movie. Now, is this perfect? Is this amazing? Am I going to go back and rewatch it anytime soon? No. But if I had a kid and I was trying to get them into Batman movies, I would definitely show them the Lego Batman movie for sure. It's fun, it's entertaining, and it's an all around solid movie that actually really understands Bruce Wayne. Now we're getting to Batman Forever. Oh, goodness. Okay. I am going to actually put this in C. I think this movie is perfectly watchable, but there's nothing that's great about it, right? Jim Carrey's Riddler isn't really Jim Carrey playing the Riddler, it's the Riddler playing Jim Carrey, right? And then Tommy Lee Jones' Two-Face could have been awesome, but they just had his performance be such a like comedic take on Two-Face. And this was when they were leaning far more into the comedy aspect of Batman and ditching the serious tones of it, and you can really tell. I'm a huge Val Kilmer fan, so getting Val Kilmer as Batman I thought was going to be perfect, and he's all right in this movie, but this movie clearly isn't a deeper Batman movie, more serious and grounded. Now, this is more silly and kind of classic comic booky, but some people do like it, and if you like it, I totally understand, but for me, it's just not good. Next, we have Batman and Robin. So, surprisingly, this isn't an F. It's going in D. It is a bad movie. I don't like it. I never love it. I loved it when I was a kid, actually, so I guess that's a lie. But as an adult, can't stand it. The performances are terrible. Arnold Schwarzenegger is horrible as Mr. Freeze. Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy could have been cool, but not that great. And then George Clooney as Batman could have been awesome if they gave him a serious role. But even he apologizes for this movie. But the thing that holds out an F tier for me is while it is terrible, it is one of those movies where it is so bad that it's not good, but it's entertaining. I'm not bored watching Batman and Robin, right? I'm looking at it like, this is terrible, this is horrible, but it's so bad. There's funny moments, that just clearly is just not taking itself seriously. So it holds itself out of F for me because it's not like the most boring thing I've ever seen. And next we get Batman 89, one of my personal favorite Batman movies. Okay, so this is where my list differs from a lot of people. I'm going to have this up in A. I won't have it in S, but I'm not going to have it anything lower because Jack Nicholson as the Joker, I cannot say enough about. It is perfect casting. In my opinion, he's the best Joker we've ever gotten. I know people love Heath Ledger, and I know it's a hot take to say, but Jack Nicholson's always been my favorite. And Michael Keaton, while he's not the perfect Bruce Wayne, he's done a very good job with the character, right? And I feel like this movie, while Tim Burton didn't read the comics and he openly thought comic books are stupid, he's like, why would I read those? He did a pretty good job realizing Gotham City. I really like the performances across the board for the movie. And Joker's plan is just totally something Joker would do, in my opinion. Like, it feels like something plucked straight out of a comic book, ironically enough, when the director doesn't even read them, but it feels like something straight out of a comic book. Just Joker giving, his gas and throwing it out into the city during a parade or gassing TV stations. Like, that's totally something he would do. So I actually really like that movie quite a bit. But next we got The Batman. Oh boy. This is where the hot takes come in. But in my opinion, it is an S tier movie. I love this movie. I know people don't like the Riddler because he's not dressed as the Riddler as he usually is, but I thought his riddles were so dark and gritty and perfect for this portrayal of Batman that they were trying to come across with. And Robert Pattinson absolutely killed it. Andy Serkis as Alfred was amazing. The performances across the board are fantastic. Zoe Kravitz is great in the movie. It's a great movie, right? And obviously, people have issues with the Riddler not being the Riddler, but for me, it actually worked out quite well, especially for this modern telling of Batman. Now, I know a lot of people didn't like that we didn't get more Bruce Wayne, but apparently that's something that's going to be focused on in the sequel. I love this movie. I've seen it probably 3 or 4 times since it's come out. I saw it opening night in the theaters, and it has never disappointed me. It never loses its steam for me either, which is very interesting because a movie of this length you would think would get really boring at times, but for me, I think the movie is excellently paced, and I think Matt Reeves is on to just greatness with this franchise, and I can't wait to see what he has next. Now, moving on, we have The Dark Knight Rises. Okay, this movie has some plot holes, but it's not as bad as everyone thinks it is. I think it's a good movie. I'm putting it in B. It is fun. It's good. Christian Bale is great in it. All the performances are good. Tom Hardy as Bane is a little, goofy at times, but he's actually pretty good in the movie, in my opinion. And I think the action fights, are good. The plot is a little goofy, and I know people don't like the twist at the end with Talia al Ghul. I like the attempt at the twist that she's the child, but obviously there's some holes in the plot with this movie. But, I don't hate it. It's not the worst thing in the world. I just think it gets a little overhated. But I still think it is a perfectly watchable and good Batman movie. But this is when the hot takes really get in. Batman Begins. It's my favorite Batman movie of all time. Now, I will openly say, am I a little biased? Probably. I grew up with this movie. Should Liam Neeson be playing Ra's al Ghul? No, he should not be. Is he good in the role with what he's given with his performance? Yes, in my opinion, right? Christian Bale is fantastic as Bruce Wayne playing the billionaire playboy, and then on the flip side, he's playing Batman. He's got that fierce, like, viciousness to him. I know people don't like the voice that he gets, but I love that this is just an adaptation pretty much of Batman Year One, which is my favorite Batman story ever. It's a fantastic movie. Batman Begins, I can watch infinitely. I never get tired of. And very underrated, but Scarecrow in this movie is awesome. I never get tired of the villain selection. Again, like I said, I know there's controversy with Liam Neeson playing Ra's al Ghul. Should he be playing him? No, he should not be. But with what we've got, living in the reality we do, is he good in the movie? Yes, I think he is. Now, moving on, we have Justice League, which this is going straight into F tier. This is a terrible, terrible movie. Batman, I think, like, the story that they were going for, right? It's well known that DC at the time was trying to capitalize on a more comedic take, and they were trying to shorten their movies, right? Where Zack Snyder wanted a much longer Justice League movie, but the studios wanted something that was like under 2 hours or right around that time frame. And clearly, with the story that they were trying to tell, that time frame was just not enough to characterize these characters. You're introducing so many people and throwing them into the same movie, and then you got Ben Affleck, who's very clearly like two different weights to the movies through the different cuts. This movie is just awful. Justice League, I've seen once in theaters, and I have chose to never watch that movie again. I will never give it another chance. I cannot stand it. But I have heard the Snyder Cut is way better, so who knows? Maybe one day when I watch that, I'll come around. Next, we have Batman Returns. I'm throwing this in the D tier. I was so disappointed because as a kid, I remember liking this movie, when I was like 8 years old, which I was way too young to be watching it. But I rewatched this actually like 2 months ago. I was so disappointed. It's one of the worst Batman movies of all time. First things first, Michael Keaton, like, the performance, it's fine. But what are we doing with the Penguin in this movie? I think it is one of the worst portrayals of a comic book character of all time. Is it Danny DeVito's fault? Probably not. He's probably doing exactly what Tim Burton wanted him to, because Tim Burton doesn't read the comics. So he's like, oh, penguin guy? Yeah, he's just like deformed like a penguin, and he eats fish, and he lives in the sewers with all these other penguins in this like icy sewer. But like, I just think it's terrible. Like, I think the acting is really bad in most of the scenes, and I really don't like how they turn Penguin into like this sexually assaulting pervert in every other scene he's in. It's just not my cup of tea, and I just not a fan of that movie at all. Next, we have The Dark Knight. Now, a lot of people have this in S tier, but hot take, it's going in A. It's going right around the same as Batman 89. Honestly, these can flip either way. It depends on what I'm feeling on the day, but The Dark Knight is great. Heath Ledger as the Joker is amazing. I will not diminish his performance one bit. Just because I like Jack Nicholson's better doesn't diminish what Heath Ledger did. He was amazing as the Joker. Christian Bale is great once again in this movie. The story is really great. Spoilers, obviously, but the death of Rachel is really well handled. And I really like what they do with Joker just, kind of stealing the soul of Gotham, right? Now, that's also kind of why I'm not a big fan of the movie, right? Well, I shouldn't say big fan. It's an A tier. I love it. But the one thing I'm not a big fan of is I think Joker's plan just isn't a Joker-like plan, right? I'm more a fan of Joker being like the goofy like comic book where he can be very dark, yes, but all of his schemes would have a very comedic twist to him, right? Dark Knight, I don't really see it. And I know that's a weird take to have, and I'll probably get roasted for it if anybody sees this part of the video, but I don't know how to perfectly explain it. I just prefer what they do with Joker and Batman 89. But again, Dark Knight, it's an amazing movie. It's an A tier. It deserves to be. And I understand why it's people's favorites. I truly do. But last one to rank, Batman v Superman. Is this the Dawn of Justice edition? Okay, that's how I'll rank it. This movie is also going in D tier. I'll put it a little bit above Batman Returns. Batman in this movie is just such an idiot, and it's really not fun to watch. Jesse Eisenberg is one of the worst castings for a superhero movie of all time. Lex Luthor, it was just terrible. It literally every time he was on scene, I cringed, and I feel bad for Jesse Eisenberg because he's one of my favorite actors. But I don't know what they were thinking casting him in this role, and I don't know what they were thinking when they like approved this movie. Like Batman just being a murderer is never gonna sit well with me. That just fundamentally takes away from the point of Batman. And I just didn't like Henry Cavill is honestly the best part of the movie in my opinion, and he's mostly like should be the villain after what happens in Man of Steel. But I really don't like that DCEU interpretation of Batman. I've just never been a huge fan of. But that is my list. I'm sure it is very different from yours. If you would like to leave a list of your favorite Batman movies in the comments section below, I would love to see those. And again, respect everyone's opinions. Even if you have Justice League in first, who am I to tell you that you're wrong, right? We all like Batman for different reasons. But let me know your thoughts on the video down in the comments section below. If you enjoyed, consider subscribing. And I'll see you guys all next time. This is Austin, and I'm out. Peace, guys.